So there is a horrible fraud that is continuously being perpetrated to the public, and I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about in this short video clip coming up, and I want you to pay particular attention to the very end of this video clip. Check this out.
Inflation rose 3.1% in January, more than expected. Driving the higher prices, car insurance surged 21% over the last year. Rent has risen 6%, and daycare costs are up 5%. Are you and President Biden happy with where inflation is right now?
Well, look, we know that Americans are experiencing discomfort because some important prices are higher than they were pre-pandemic. But what I think is really important is that wages have gone up along with prices, so people are better off than they were pre-pandemic.
I mean, seriously, this woman is totally clueless and knows damn well that her own comments are total nonsense. Wages are up and inflation is down. In what world is she living in? I want you guys to take a look at this short video clip from a couple of people that completely contradict her absurd comments. Take a look at this coming up.
Are you better off now than you were in January of 2021?
No, I'm not. I mean, that's me being honest. I'm working 5 times harder when I calculate everything. Hours worked to amount of money bringing in is nowhere near as high as it was in 2020 or 2021.
How do you feel?
I worry. I mean, I have 2 kids who are 19 and 21. What I'm reading and hearing about the job market, I'm scared for them. I'm really scared for them.
So that clip right there just goes to show you what's actually going on in the real world compared to the absurd gaslighting comments of our own U.S. Treasury Secretary. And I'm going to further prove how wrong she is in the upcoming clips right after the intro. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When the time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the rest of the video. So I have several graphics coming up that I'm going to show you guys pertaining mostly to the real estate market. But in this first graphic, I want to show and prove to you just how wrong our own U.S. Treasury Secretary is from that first video clip and how she has absolutely no credibility whatsoever. All right, so I wanted to show you guys this chart first because this directly relates back to what Treasury Secretary Yellen had mentioned in that brief video clip, talking about how wages have gone up and how people are better off in the post-pandemic time period. So let's take a look at this chart here. Now, it looks a little bit confusing, but take a look on the left side of the chart. You see that it's all green leading up to about 2020, right before the pandemic. So again, this shows weekly earnings in that surplus kind of category. Now take a look at that red section right there on the right side of the chart. That right there was the time period of the entire pandemic from 2020 through 2023. So that just goes to show you that wage growth was dropping and going down during the entire pandemic, which contradicts everything that Janet Yellen had mentioned in that previous video clip. Now you can see right on the very far right side of the screen next to my picture there's a few small green bars there. So that shows you that wage growth was increasing in the last 6 or 7 months. But again, there's a little arrow there showing, again, there's another little red bar starting to form there. So again, wage growth is dropping, but you see how much it dropped and how people were not prospering at all during the pandemic, which again contradicts what Treasury Secretary Yellen mentioned in that interview. Now, here's another thing that's not being talked about lately in the media. Take a look at this recent article that just came out and take a look at that headline. Mortgage rates rise, crossed to wrong side of 7% threshold. So very quietly over the last 2 months, mortgage rates now are at the highest levels in the last couple of months. And a little bit deeper into this article, I'm going to show you the top metropolitan cities where interest rates now and mortgage rates are well over 7% for home buyers, which is not an optimistic sign to the housing market. All right, so let's take a look at the current mortgage rates now in the top 10 metro areas. Now you can see at the top, it says mortgage rates by metro area. Average 30-year mortgage rates in the 10 largest metro areas range from 7.39% in Los Angeles to 6.91% in Chicago. All right, so let's start over here on the east side of the map here. Let's take a look right here in the yellow upper section in Boston. The average mortgage rate is 7.1%. If we go down here to Washington, D.C., it's 7.33%. If we go right over here to Detroit, it's 7.06%. Chicago is 6.91%. Dallas is 7.33%. Houston is 7.27%. Los Angeles is 7.39%. And San Francisco is 7.23%. So let me tell you another fraud that's being perpetrated on the public. It's when the media reports that mortgage rates are dropping down well below 7%, when this map proves that mortgage rates are nowhere near in the mid-sixes like a lot of the media outlets are reporting. We are well over 7%. Very few of these media outlets are talking about it, and this does not bode well for an already overinflated real estate market throughout the entire United States. So now I want you guys to take a look at this article that came out a couple of months ago, which is really just completely shocking, and again, proves that the economy, even though it's doing well, people are not doing well within the economy. Take a look at that headline. Home prices are rising 2 times faster than income. Now, I want to show you a very troubling statistic that they put in lower down in the article here. Let's take a look at that right now. All right, so I want you guys to take a look at this blue highlighted paragraph right in the middle of the page there next to my picture. I'm going to read it to you if you can't see that. It says, to afford the median home price of $433,000, Americans need an annual income of roughly $166,600. But the median household earns just $74,580, only 45% of the recommended amount. So do you guys see how troubling this trend is? Just to afford the average price home in the United States, you need to be making well over 6 figures per year, which the majority of individuals and families do not make. Yet we have our own Treasury Secretary telling us that we are better off now than we were before the pandemic, when you never needed to make that kind of an income to afford the average price home. This is what I'm talking about, guys. You need to pay attention very carefully to who you're listening to, because a lot of these people, especially government officials and media outlets like these legacy media outlets, they are not telling the truth. All right, so now I want to drill down more specifically into my neck of the woods here in the Las Vegas area, and I wanted to show you this headline of this article that just came out last week from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, which is really pretty shocking when we go a little bit deeper down into this article. The headline says, how much do Las Vegas residents need to make to afford rent? Which is very shocking, which I'm about to show you a little bit deeper down here, just to afford rent here in the Las Vegas area. Let's take a look at that right now. All right, so I'm going to read you that blue short highlighted paragraph right at the top if you can't read it. It says, Las Vegas households now need to make at least $69,810 annually to be able to afford rent in the Valley, which is above the median household income, according to a new report from Zillow. All right, so let's just take a step back for a second, because this is really pretty shocking. The average individual income here in the Las Vegas area is about $55,000 per year. So not only do you need to be making at least double that kind of income, plus a down payment just to afford a home here in the Las Vegas area, but now you need to be making about $15,000 more than that $55K, because you need to be making about $70,000 a year just to afford rent here in Las Vegas. That is absolutely crazy. It's not only crazy here, but it's crazy all over the United States. But this is especially shocking in Las Vegas, which does not have the best job market here. So just to afford rent and have to make 70 grand a year, it shows you how out of whack everything really is in this particular city. All right, so one of the biggest culprits, if not the biggest culprit, as to why home prices here in the Las Vegas area and also throughout the entire United States are so high is because there is such a limited amount of inventory. Now, I want you guys to take a look at this bar chart here. This bar chart is for the Las Vegas area, and I want to start over here on the left side first. Back in February of 2023, you can see that bar right there. Right at the top, that number says 5743. That means there was over 5,700 homes for sale a year ago, and it slightly dropped off. We've been hovering right in the mid to high 3,000s, and then right at the end of 2023, we got just above 4,000, but now we've had a drop off again. In January, we were at 3,756, and then we just lost about another 10%. We're now down to about 3,400 here in February of 2024. So this inventory issue is the ultimate thorn in the housing market, not just here in the Las Vegas area, but throughout the United States. But here's what I think is going to happen. I think at some point this year, the Fed is definitely going to lower rates, which means more homeowners are going to look to sell their homes at that point, because when they sell their homes and buy another one, they're going to get a more favorable interest rate. So I think more inventory is going to come on the market just because the homeowners are going to start to list their homes more, especially as we get into that spring-summer time period. I also believe home builders are going to catch up to demand. Those two things coupled together, I think, is going to bring more inventory to the market. And if we run into any kind of economic issues, if we couple all of that together, I think home prices are definitely going to come down in the latter part of this year. Now, this is an election year. So again, it may be a little bit of a delay. It may take through the whole year. It may take into 2025, but I see more inventory coming to market, not just in Vegas, but also through the United States. And I think that's definitely going to bring home prices down. So there is a massive disconnect with what our own governmental leaders are feeding us compared to what is really going on out there. The fact that everything in this economy is so much more expensive than it was pre-pandemic, yet the government and a lot of the legacy media companies out there will continue to tell us that the economy is doing great and that we're better off than we were before is complete gaslighting nonsense. We are definitely not better off, and although we have no choice but to buy our normal everyday items, we do have a choice to not buy the high-ticket, overpriced items right now, like homes or cars or concert tickets or going out for an expensive meal at a restaurant. Be smart, save your money if you can. Nobody knows what tomorrow brings, and less spending ultimately in the economy will bring prices down. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video. Now, I get hundreds and hundreds of comments each week, and I try to pick out my favorite comment, but this week I found 3 that really stood out to me that are actually very shocking. I'm going to put each one of them up here on screen. I think you guys are going to really be just as shocked as I am. Let's take a look at those right now. So here's the first comment from Finance Doc. This is absolutely insane. I've spoken to over 100 applicants that have 700 plus scores, 25K in the bank, and household income of 70,000 to 120,000, and they do not qualify for any average priced houses. This second one says, here's another update. Just got my homeowner's insurance bill for next year, and surprise, surprise, it went up 40% from $1,900 to $2,700. Wow. I shopped it around and it was even higher, $3,700 to $4,700. Effing crazy. So this third comment from Senum says, I'm a Las Vegas notary signing agent, and what I find alarming is clients that I did signings for in 2020 and 2021 for 2 to 3% are now refinancing 3 to 4 years of debt at 7+% interest rates. Because of the super inflated market, they do per se have what I call false equity, but now have a new monthly mortgage payment $1,000 to $1,500 more. It breaks my heart seeing this. So I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Definitely drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're frustrated about, whether you agree with me or you agree with the Treasury Secretary thinking that we're better off now than we were before the pandemic, or whether or not you're just frustrated about your grocery bills, rent prices, car prices, insurance prices. Let me know what's bothering you. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. You know that I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the economy and the housing market. So here's the deal, guys. We all know everything is still massively overinflated. Unfortunately, we still have to buy our everyday items, but when it comes to high-ticket items like buying a home, definitely sit tight right now if you can. I know everybody's circumstances are different. Some people have the luxury of being able to wait things out and see if home prices come down like I think is going to happen later this year. If you don't have that opportunity to wait things out and you do need to buy a home, especially here in the Las Vegas area, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.